back. Greetings, Starfighters. Welcome to Mad Science Films. I'm Jimmy P, filmmaker, sexual astronaut, and as ever, I am joined by my amazing co-hosts.
James Morrissey, filmmaker from South Wales, aka Jim, Angry Jim. James. Sometimes Jamie, which is fucking annoying.
Yeah, I get that. Automatically, I dislike anybody who goes Jamie. Yeah. I'm like, no.
Punch someone in the throat for saying that. But
my mum doesn't call me Jamie. You don't get to call me Jamie. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Okay, so first up, if you're in the UK and a Prime Video member, please check out our fourth feature film for free. Just search for Little Monster or click on the link in the show notes below. Our little zombie movie we put together. We think you'll enjoy it. Yes. Okay. So, as we've been doing in the past few weeks, on this show, we're campaigning for a forgotten piece of genre cinema to be given the exquisite Blu Ray treatment. This week is Jimmy P, that's me, Jimmy M's choice. And Jim, what are you giving us?
Oh, we got a sequel to a classic. It is The Gate 2.
AKA The Trespassers, yeah.
Trespassers, yes. So I get a little synopsis here. Terry, a teenage sorcerer, summons entities from the other side to grant wishes. But when one of Satan's minions escapes into the living dimension before the gate closes, all hell breaks loose. Yes. Now, I haven't watched this for a while. I don't know where to come up. I seen something. I thought, is there a UK release of The Gate 2? And for what I can see, I can't see any UK releases of The Gate 2.
No.
So I thought I'll put it forward for this show.
Interestingly enough, we were actually talking about the director on the last episode with our guest host.
He did. Was it Armageddon? He did with Rutger Hauer.
He did a few of the Mark de Moskos films as well. So yeah. So The Gate 2. So Jim, I'm guessing not a first time watch then. When did you originally catch this?
Oh, this was VHS days. I was a big fan of the first one, and I seen this one pretty early 90s, maybe mid to early 90s, I guess. Well, it's not the original one had a bit of mystical fantasy kind of to it. It felt like perhaps it was their age then, like a bit innocent and a bit more of a mystery and adventure kind of thing. This one, obviously, it's not that many years later. But
puberty has definitely kicked in.
He's definitely ramped it up. So they're a bit older, so it gets a bit more kind of character, exploration and stuff like that. So, but it was cool to see the original writer, original director, special effects guy team up again for this one, and it was interesting to see what they would do with it, and I appreciate it. It's not as good as the original, but I think they tried to take it to the next level, and I appreciate all the efforts which they went through to kind of do it. Now, this apparently the budget wasn't that much for this. Even though the original doing quite well, the budget wasn't quite a bit. And I was watching a discussion with the writer, the director, who is
where was that, mate? Was that on YouTube?
Yeah, so it's Tibor.
Send me the link and we'll drop it down there, guys, because I wouldn't mind seeing that as well.
Yeah, it's about half hour long, just generally chit-chatting about the film, the sequel. So it's Tibor Takacs, how would you pronounce it? Michael Nankin, who's the screenwriter, and the special effects guy is Randall William Cook. Now, special mention to him because I really enjoyed the special effects in this film. Some of the stop motion didn't quite work. Looks a bit dated, do you know what I mean? But it's still good. But that forced perspective effects which they did is pretty spot on. And if you listen to him discuss those special effects, there's a scene where the minion's in a cage and they're kind of standing near him, and the girl, her arm is behind the cage. So it gives you a real impression that the cage is actually there and whatever else. But what they did is they took just a part of the cage to sit in front of a hand.
Yeah.
And then they kind of pieced it all together with distance and stuff. And they made it work, and it's just crazy magic.
It's amazing witchcraft. I don't know how they do it. And I think it might have been a behind the scenes still of the first one, actually, where they show like the part of the set is like cut out where it's the chest of drawers. And you're like, how can somebody even think three-dimensionally? It's two lots of three-dimensional and then be able to post it, kind of put it together in a 2D frame. Amazing work. I mean, I love forced perspective. Recently I read an article just about Elf, the Will Ferrell movie, and the bits they do with the elves and him and everything like that. And even that, I was just like, wow. And that is on a lot more basic level than what we're talking about in The Gate. So yeah. Amazing work with that. Definitely forced perspective.
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah, really appreciate that. No,
I remember as a kid watching the first Gate. Now, I don't think I saw Gate 2 until my 20s, but I remember seeing The Gate far too young, and it really messed me up. And I think a lot of it was to do with I didn't understand how they even achieved those effects. I was just like, well, it can't be puppets like Gremlins, because you can't see, their legs are in shot, they're running around in shot. And even at that age, like you were saying, the stop motion, I could tell when it was stop motion, even when they did that motion blur kind of thing with the stop motion.
Yeah.
But there were bits I was just like, oh my God, did they actually get little demons running around? Because the effects were fantastic. And again, obviously, brilliant that they were able to bring the same team onto the second one. But what I will say is I'm a little bit disappointed. Obviously, it goes back to the budget issue, is that, in the first one, you had loads of these little, demons running around. And really, for most of the second one, you've only got one little demon running around. So that was a little bit of a step down.
I think in the original script, again, this is little spoilers from that clip, which we're going to put in the show notes. They had a huge third act planned with some crazy winged demons, and it was all going to kick off. But going back to the issue of budget, that kind of clamps you, and you can't achieve that. So they had to go with the third act, which they eventually did. So there was a few more demons towards the end, but a bit underwhelming, wasn't it? It wasn't. Then if you listen to the guys talk about it, very critical. Tebow was critical of, he mentioned like tonal shifts. It felt like he didn't steer the ship, as he says in his own words. He felt like he lost grip at times. The special effects, he felt like he nailed the forced perspective stuff, but then later on it kind of, in the third act, he was a bit, so you could tell he was, and we've experienced this ourselves, with a tight budget and money, time running out, you got to just get what you can get and move on.
Get something that tells the story. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So,
I mean, the tonal thing kind of makes sense, and I'm absolutely with you, mate. Like the first one is almost kind of like a fairy tale. It's like kids' nightmare dream logic, isn't it? And I love that. There's the bits where they think it's over. He runs out, he hugs his dad, and then his dad tries to choke him, and you've been bad, and then the mum's head falls off, and that's complete child dream logic, isn't it? That's like having dreams about you being in your dad's car, and your dad's car suddenly just moving without him being in the car, and you're like, ah, or was that just me? But it was those kind of dreams or whatever. And then obviously they couldn't repeat it with the second one because the progress of time had meant that what's his name, Louis Tripp, so the guy playing Terry had grown up, had gone through puberty, and so they couldn't quite play it the same way. So the moody teenager, angsty, almost emo cousin of the first Gate kind of did make sense. Not as entertaining, but from a character point of view, it kind of dictated the tone, and that did make sense. So I'm gonna allow it that it was a tonal shift from the first one, and I do prefer the first one, but at least it made sense in terms of the story. And then I suppose it did help in terms of the budget, because if the first one is this fairy tale kind of thing about this tree getting with massive roots getting dug up or whatever, and then it's like a gateway to hell, okay, cool. And if the second one is like teenage wish fulfillments, angsty, puberty kicking in and all you want is girls and stuff, then that all kind of links together, and I dig that. The wish fulfillment thing, what did you think though, mate? Because that's a pretty big divergent from the first one, really, isn't it?
I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? Like Yeah, because of course, when I watched it way back when, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just for what it was. But you look back and you think, yeah, that was a bit of a clearly there wasn't enough story there to kind of continue on with the gates into the gate two. So they had to kind of come up with something like a bit of a hook, perhaps, what could possibly happen with Terry, and the wish thing. Yeah, a bit of a stretch, I guess. But then
I appreciate them doing something different. At least they're trying.
I didn't mind it being around Terry. I kind of like that little story with his dad. I kind of like that,
it was all set up in the first one, wasn't it? That's why Stephen Dorff's character and his parents are encouraging him to, be kind to Terry because his mum's passed away and blah 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 blah. And there's little bits of it in the first one when he has the hallucination of his mum coming back. That's right. To move your supporting character into the main character role, that's ballsy, but they did a good job. If anything, Terry's character is more interesting in the first one than Stephen Dorff's character. So,
well, really, Terry is the one who kind of brings it too, doesn't he? And Stephen Dorff is just running around looking after his dog and his sister and everything else. And just
Stephen Dorff's character arc is really being a wimp and then manning up towards the end of it. That's all he does. Whereas, especially Terry from the first one all the way to the second, he has much more of character development. The one thing I'll say is, God bless Louis Tripp. I'm not sure he's as good an actor as they perhaps needed in this. Go on.
No, sorry. I was going to say, I don't think he went on to have a illustrious career in acting, to be honest. I think he did some TV stuff.
And then pops up in small roles, later on. But
yeah, he wasn't a strong. No, a strong performance.
And I don't want to put it all on Louis. Again, anytime with an actor, you've got to factor in the director and his work and the script, obviously, that the actor's got to work with. But a lot of it was like those really awkward, and I'm sure I've seen it as memes, him just kind of going, like screaming out loud constantly. Yeah. So, I don't want to put all the blame on Louis there, but whatever was happening, they didn't get, I think, as strong a performance. Now, Stephen Dorff, to be honest, in the first one, it doesn't have a lot to work with, but at no point was I kind of pulled out and went, I'm not buying it. Whereas with Louis, unfortunately, he was asked to do a lot more character-wise and was less successful. So, balance.
I think it's a valid point. I don't think the guy must have looked back and thought, I'm not really cut up for this, I guess. But at the same time, I kind of dug the character. And I like the stuff with his dad's, wanting his dad to do well and give up the drink and all that. And it was just a fun. Was it slow for you? Did it lack pace at any time?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I didn't think it did either. Yeah.
No. Both films. I mean, both films. Like the pacing works absolutely fine. It was slightly repetitive, I think, with the relationship with the girl. Kind of went back and then forward and back and forward and back and forward.
Yeah.
That could have got to the point quicker. I think all of the supporting characters were fine and great as well. I mean, the bully characters were a bit stereotypical, but entertaining enough for the bits they were on screen. The girl was fine and entertaining enough, and you kind of bought into them. That was fine. My biggest kind of question is the ending. Was just wow.
Again, I think that's where T-Board is a bit like, I kind of just off railed there and just went, spoilers. Do we talk about?
I think we got to do spoilers here because I think it is a bit where it falls down a bit. So sorry guys, if you want to skip, then skip. But
skip away. Yeah. No, but just so it's very 80s. It was all a dream kind of way of ending a film, but it's more everybody can come back now from death because
she wished for it, as far as I could see. I mean, I was completely on board with the downer ending. That suited the tone of the film, and so at the end when it's the funeral, I was like, wow, fair enough to them. At first, like when she's crying over him, and you're in the mid shot, I'm like, any second now he's gonna just come back awake, and then they cut to the wide, and you're like, oh no, okay, he's dead. And then they cut to the funeral. I'm like, okay, all right,
You
fine.
definitely
You know,
can.
commit to it. That's
Yeah.
fine. And then the bit where she puts the thing on, obviously had made a wish, and then bangs on and he bangs on the lid. I'm like, oh, really? And then their reactions, you know, in terms of, you know, the dad just laughs and he's like, yay, okay, great. And,
I'm hungry. Can I have day off school?
Yeah.
Again,
and then the bullies come. And then did you watch the
Yeah.
post-credits bit?
No, but I have heard there's another, little furry thing that leaves.
The hamster comes back, or the gerbil, or whatever it is. Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I kind of wish they'd left it on a downer ending, because that would have made sense in the context of the film. Again, it just raised so many questions for me. Like, oh, really, the kid was dead.
Yeah,
and you've wished it away. Does that mean he's going to turn to shit in like 20 minutes?
I really think that's just a director just playing it too safe. I think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they must have known there wouldn't have been a Gate 3, or were they just really hoping there'd be? And again, considering how well they did in terms of turning the Gate 2 into Terry's story, then make, you know, the Gate 3 about the girl's story or somebody else's story, you know, like you know, do that thing where you make a supporting character the main character in the next one. It felt like a cheat. And if they'd perhaps given it another 5 minutes to try stick the landing a bit better, I might have bought it. But the way he did it, I was just like, nah.
Yeah, I was a bit kind of like, oh mate, you know, you could have just left, you know, head held high if you just let them all be dead, and you know, grim ending. But yeah, I know, like yourself, I was a bit disappointed to see it. And then when it happened, because you kind of got a feeling, I had a little bit of a, you know, how is this gonna, you know, you wouldn't have a funeral service after they died unless something else was coming. So what was this something else that was coming right at the end?
I was just on board, so I was you know, giving them more credit than the perhaps they deserved. I was like, brave ending, guys, brave ending. And then I was like, oh no, you chickened out.
Yeah, okay. You fucked up. Yeah. No, but it was nice to kind of go back, revisit, and it was a while since I watched the Gate 2 last, so it was nice to go back and revisit and just rekindle those fond memories of being in VHS stores.
Yeah, I dug it. I think for me it was a great excuse to also watch the first one. I did the double bill, so it was nice to revisit the first one and then appreciate what they tried to do in the second. Partially successfully. Let's go. Yeah, let's be nice.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was an amazing film, but I think what I'm one, nostalgia, and two, just giving credit to the filmmakers for trying to be ambitious with the sequel, and then also totally being self-critical of the failings of the film. And you know, but as we know, you're always gonna be critical of your work. You know, if you're not, then there's something wrong with you.
There is real problems there.
No. So it's a good watch. I think if you're a big fan of the Gate, I think you might want to check this out just to kind of go through the whole Terry situation and see what he's up to, I guess. And it's definitely got
what I would say is be prepared for a tonal shift. You know, if you're looking for, you know, almost the horror or the horror of River's Edge,
Dawson's Creek.
That's actually much more accurate. And I was being too generous by saying River's Edge. Yeah, it is the horror of Dawson Creek. Nice. Hey Jim. So, which Blu-ray label do you think we should pester to try put this bad boy out?
I've gone for Synapse Films.
Oh, okay. All right.
Synapse Films. Arrow, I think. Arrow, I think, yes, Arrow. They just do a lot of good stuff, don't they? And I think they could dig this one out and dust it off. Yeah, I think so. Nice. What's about 101? I didn't think about 101. Maybe 101 films. Was that 2 in America? 2?
No. I mean 101, possibly. I mean, I've got Vestron. They put out the first Gate. Obviously, you know, they're kind of like a very much a nostalgia label. So, you know, if they put out the first one, and also I picked Eureka because they recently put out 976 Evil in the UK. Ooh, so, nice. You know, which is actually one of my recommendations as well. Yeah. So I was going in that kind of thing, you know, 80s American horror. Those kind of guys would be your thing. Obviously, the Gate I think was released in 1990, but I think shot late 80s. There was a bit of a delay releasing it according to the IMDb notes. I think that was just, bankruptcy in some of the companies or whatever. So I think those two guys, I'm trying not to pick Arrow because I pick Arrow a lot. So that's the only reason why I wasn't saying Arrow this time. So I think I'll pester Vestron and Eureka and see what they can do. So cool. So Jim, if people dug this film, what other films would you recommend they checked out to?
Well, obviously the original, The Gate. Go watch that. But if you like wishes being fucked up, intentionally destroyed and ripped apart, then perhaps watch The Wishmaster. It's an obvious one. Also go for Hell Island. Teenagers messing around with demons, I guess, demonic possession.
Hell Island. I don't know if I've seen
that. It's a bit earlier than this 80s, or Slaughterhouse Rock is also known as.
Yes, that one I know it as. Yes, sorry, mate. Yes, of course.
That's back in the VHS days, Hell Island, but it's Slaughterhouse Rock. So teenagers fucking around with demons. There's some possession in there and some dodgy special effects in terms of makeup effects, stuff like that. It's a good, fun film. Not very deep. There's no major character arcs. It's just demons and teenagers. There we go.
Nice. Okay, so I mentioned 976 Evil. Definitely, that's worth a check. Similar kind of character, angsty teens, all of that. Slightly later, but again, angsty teens with like wish powers or given power and stuff like that. Brain Scan with Eddie Furlong. So that's a 90s video classic. Do you remember that one, Jim?
Yeah.
Like virtual reality kind of thing. But it's like the mid-90s update of that. And then 80s classic, just reminded me of the effects and, like how they absolutely went for it. Night of the Demons. So just love that movie. And that's full 80s vibe. That's probably more of a recommendation based on the first Gate. But any excuse to recommend Night of the Demons, check it out.
Film. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
Nice one. Okay, guys. So if there's any films that you think we should check out based on us loving The Gate and The Gate 2, or if there's any films that we haven't yet kind of checked out and you think deserve an amazing Blu-ray release, let us know. If you agree with what we're saying, let us know in the comments. If you think we are crazy and that The Gate 2 is actually better than The Gate, I also want to hear from that human being. So let me know. Whatever.
Crazy.
All our contact deets are in the show notes below. And Jim, what else can they do for us?
So if you like this video, then please hit the like button. If you've been enjoying the Mad Science content, then why not subscribe to our channel and follow us on Facebook? If you have any comments or suggestions, then leave those in the comment section down below. Thank you and goodbye.
Peace.